Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. I mean, everyone who is anyone, both the famous and the infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I am extremely proud to introduce you to Nia Kiggundu-Carngbe, an elite athlete who connected her passion for sports and commitment to others to create a world-class volleyball club that now provides opportunities for children within her local community. Nia, it's a pleasure to talk to you today.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, I have to tell you, you would never know this, but I have just been inundated over the past year with all knowledge about volleyball because my 17-year-old son just played in his first city championship. So I
My
got
God.
to be a volleyball mom this year.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
very, very, very excited to talk to you and see if I can't pick your brain. So it's a pleasure. Why don't we just start off by talking about the New Mexico Cactus Volleyball Club? Why don't you tell me how you came to be its president and director?
Well, I started New Mexico Cactus Volleyball Club in 2008, and it was something that I guess, brought together as a brainchild or a fill the gap kind of program because I was helping out with a couple of girlfriends that coached high school volleyball. And there was a disconnect between some of the kids that went to the high schools that I was helping out with that were, that came from lower socioeconomic backgrounds that didn't have access to club volleyball, didn't know what it was, didn't have the opportunities, or they didn't have the financial resources to connect that world. So it was designed to kind of be a bridge program for those kids to be able to, have those opportunities to be able to play club volleyball.
You
And
know,
so,
it's very
yes.
interesting that you say that because my son played club volleyball in the I guess off season.
Uh-huh.
Volleyball is a winter sport, and so he wanted to, or I guess that no, it's a spring sport.
Spring,
Um,
yes.
and so we had to prepare for him to play club volleyball. And you were 100% right. It really does either price out, location out, or status out for all practical purposes. A lot of young people that would love that activity.
Exactly. So if those opportunities aren't available, or if you're in you live in a lower socioeconomic community, club
Mhm.
volleyball is not something that you're even aware of. It's not something that's an opportunity or anything that you're even familiar with in those circles.
Why don't you
So,
actually explain what club volleyball is? A lot of people don't even know what that means.
well, club sports is basically with any sport. It's basically getting to play at an elite level, getting some of the best coaches, some of the best competition, the best training, and being able to travel and compete against teams and athletes in other areas of the country. So that's kind of how am I really this good? Not just in my local backyard, but if I can travel and compete on a national level and see what good really looks like, you have the opportunity to see it. You know how they say if you can't see it, you will never know those opportunities are available to you.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
when you see that there's a higher level of competition, it's basically something that you pay for. It's not something that's a free service, like the YMCA, which are great programs, Boys and Girls Clubs, great programs, but you will never see that elite level of volleyball or any sport basketball if you do not get to the club level. And club level, requires money, requires time, travel, so many things. But once again, it's not something that is available in those circles if you're not even aware of what it is.
Why don't I take you back just a little bit and tell me, how did your own sports career develop?
I started in middle school, and it started because I had a middle school teacher who was my PE teacher at the time, who actually saw something special in me. And so middle school, I was good for middle school volleyball. And so she said, you know what, you really need to see what club volleyball is about, because I think you can do really well there. So she referred me to the club program. There was a high school feeder program from the middle school. I was referred to the high school program to go see what club volleyball was, because I had no clue, had never heard about it. That was never in my circle or realm of things. So I thought it was, out of curiosity, I would go out there and see what this club volleyball thing was. And I entered into a whole space of athletes and kids that have been doing this for a couple of years. And I realized I was PE good, but I was not club good, but you realize very quickly the skills, the athleticism, the things that it takes to get to that next level.
Yeah.
I noticed very quickly that I was not up to par, but it was a challenge for me. It was something that I said, I really want to do that, and show me how, and I will do whatever it takes to try, to do better at that sport. So,
and I know that you've said that you weren't able to participate in sports clubs literally when you were younger due to
correct.
some financial difficulty, but that opportunities were presented to you that made it possible. So talk to me a little bit about what those opportunities are or were.
Well, yeah. So I grew up in a single mother household. My mom, was taking care of 4 kids. And so club volleyball financially was not something that she was happy to hear about, to say, hey, Mom, I want to do this, The program that I was introduced to, the head volleyball coach there, his name was Charlie Guess. He ran a program that happened to be catered to a lot of these kids that come from these lower socioeconomic backgrounds. So he had fundraising opportunities. I mean, we sold candy bars, we did Christmas lights, we did things like Illuminatias, selling things throughout the neighborhood. There was always a way for us to raise money because for a family like mine, my mother was not going to be able to afford club volleyball. So if I wanted to do it, I had to make it happen. So I'm thankful that those opportunities were there for us, because that's how, I was able to pay for travel and training and everything else was through fundraising. So yes.
So talk to me a little bit about your own sports career. So you started off in middle school, and then tell me what the trajectory looked like.
So middle school volleyball, get introduced to club volleyball. The coach that ran the club program, his name was, like I said, Charlie Guess. He ran the volleyball club. So I played for New Mexico Juniors back in the day, which was a premier volleyball club here in New Mexico. But that was the feeder program to kind of get athletes engaged and kind of get them started with, really building their skills. So I played for New Mexico Juniors all the way through high school. It gave me the ability to once again see that higher level of play, to travel and see teams from all over the country. My club team actually ended up being my high school team. So your club kids feed into the high school program. Charlie Guess was the high school coach. So you can only imagine that I fed into a program that was a state championship program. It was a powerhouse of kids, just stellar athletes. A lot of those girls went to Division I college programs, including myself. But it just catapulted this whole thing of just being able to have that experience, being able to be around stellar athletes, being able to see what Division I college volleyball looks like, and to be a sought out athlete myself. So just putting in the time, because I didn't start out as a good athlete. I didn't start out good at volleyball. I just started out as being good at PE volleyball. But I learned what it took to excel and to get to that next level by having coaches that believed in me and really pushed me and gave me the opportunities to make it happen. So by the time I finished my high school career, I was one of the top 25 players in the country. I was a Mizuno High School All-American. So, that time definitely just pays off. And when you have the right people behind you and the right support programs, it makes anything possible.
And not only did you go on to a Division I school and get an opportunity to play on that level, but you actually were inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame. So I get to say bravo. So talk to me a little bit about that process, because that is pretty awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. College, I was just very fortunate to have been given these abilities naturally, to also have the right coaches and the right people in my path that helped me just get to that next level. But in Louisiana, yes, I did play Division I college volleyball, University of Louisiana Lafayette. While I was there, I started all 4 years, so I didn't have a redshirt year. I set probably 6 different school records when I was in Louisiana. I still have records that are still standing today for things like the most kills in a career, which is the total summation of the things that I've done there. But I just love the sport. I was just really good at it. And I was honored for all of the things that I did in school, all of the stats and things that I achieved. So yes, I was inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame in 2006, and it was an amazing honor. So yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. I'm going to be bragging about you to my son a little later on today. But I don't want young people who are going to see this to think that it's just about your achievements on the volleyball court, because in addition to your sports career, you've made quite a name for yourself, literally in your profession as a pharmaceutical rep and consultant. So I want to know how the experience you gained in the role as an elite athlete help you in your career later on. I guarantee you one word you're going to say is discipline.
Definitely discipline. Putting in that hard work, because you've done it all the way, up to where you are. Every step is hard work, and it's dedication. But it's also taught me about leadership, because working in a team environment, you have to be able to get out there and lead. You have to also be able to be willing to work with other people. So it's not just about you. It is about a team environment and really helping all of those ideas, all of those talents, all those things come together. So in the world of pharmaceuticals, it was a great transfer over of skills for a leadership standpoint, teamwork standpoint, work ethic, dedication, determination. But I did learn a lot of things too in the pharmaceutical world, as far as really being able to hone my skills independently, being able to go out there and still do what you do on your own without having a team behind you all the time. Your team is always there to support you, but at the end of the day, you still have to go out there and do the job. You still have to go out there and make a difference. So those skills have definitely helped me really focus on how, helping people, helping patients, one person at a time. Being a team leader is the same thing as, when you're trying to help somebody get to that next level, you're always trying to uplift someone else, right? You're not just doing it alone. You always have, people behind you. But at the end of the day, it's about helping, other people. So
that sounds magnificent. And you talked to me a little bit earlier about those coaches that impacted on you as a young person throughout your athletic career, and then obviously some of the lessons you brought into your professional career. So did you have any other mentors as you made your way up to where you are now?
Oh, yes, definitely. My number one, of course, are my mother and my father, the strongest mentors in my life, giving me the foundation and the values, and just set up the groundwork for where everything started. But I would have to say, volleyball wise, it would definitely be Miss Sandoval. She was my middle school coach who first, took interest and saw that there was talent. And she's the one who referred me to my high school coach, who was the biggest impact on my volleyball career. So Mr. Charlie Guess was the biggest mentor, made the most impact in making me the athlete that I was. And still am, in some senses. And I would say professionally, in the pharmaceutical industry, I was very fortunate to have two amazing managers that helped shape the career path that I've been on. My very first step into pharmaceuticals, I had a manager. His name was Mike Hogan, and that was with Takeda Pharmaceuticals. He just helped me structure and help me understand the path and the role that I was to play in pharmaceutical sales. And then my current manager that I have now, that I've had for the past 9 years, has been my greatest advocate, mentor. I mean, he was also a former athlete in college, so sometimes there's that, that common bond with being an athlete. But his name is Chad Crowell. He's been just absolutely just a driving force and really helping me focus, helping me really, use those skills and put them to some good work. So those would be the mentors that have helped me professionally and volleyball and in my life. Yes.
It's wonderful. And it's clear that you are just turning that over to other young people so that they will one day say that you were indeed their mentor. So Nia, I have to ask you, with everything that you've accomplished, what are your goals for the future?
Well, my goals would be to definitely continue to make New Mexico Cactus Volleyball Club a premier volleyball club in the local region, to just continue to have outreach and impact with the youth within the community. And I would also say, just to keep growing mentally, spiritually, just being able to get to that next place, that next best thing. So just the growth and the continuation of the path that I'm on is the goal, is just to keep doing what I'm doing, find ways to be happy, and just keep making it happen.
I know that's right. I guess the last thing that I would ask you then is, what's the one thing you'd like the viewer of this video feature to walk away with today?
I would say always do your best and always do what's right, even when no one's watching, right? It's not always about the cameras. It's not about, the accolades. It's not about people talking about you. It's about you being true to who you are and always putting your best foot forward.
It's absolutely imperative that you bring integrity and authenticity to everything you do. And yeah, it's been a pleasure getting to know you, because it's clear that is something that you do on a regular basis. It's a pleasure to have met you.
Thank you so much. And Star, it's been a pleasure having you, of all people, interview me. Thank you.
You're very welcome.